Welcome back everyone to the Blender Creator course, Stylized 3D Models, and this is where we left it off. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come in, grab all of this, so go into tab mode, into edit mode, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude it on the Y-axis, so E and Y, extrude it out, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press tab, Control A, all transforms, right click Origins Geometry, right click, let's shade auto smooth, and then what we'll do is come over, generate, and bring in a solidify. Let's bring that out. Like so, and then let's pull that back into place like so. And now what we want to do is really just move this around and making sure that it's all into place. So you can see here at the moment I'm going to have to pull it back probably around to something like that, making sure that this bottom is on there, making sure that it's all fitting into place nicely. Now the next thing I want to do now is make sure that either my tiles are over the front of this or they're behind it. So whichever you feel is better for you. Now I'm thinking that if I brought these tiles out a little bit, so if I brought them, let's say, out to there, that's probably going to look better for me at least. I just need to bend them out just on the bottom here, and then I just have to be careful that this bit is going round to the tiles. In other words, we've not got a big gap down there, and that's going to be one of the problems we face. So what I tend to do in a situation like that is I'm just going to pull all of this down a little bit. So pull it down a little bit like so, and now you'll see we've got a little corner poking from there, but you can see this is fitting on here much nicer. Now what I want to do is I just want to increase this and bend it around a little bit and just making sure that it all fits in place. Now let's have a look at the bottom and making sure these tiles are probably poking out a little bit too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull them up, pull them back into place so that we've got that nice kind of bit poking out. And even that might be not enough yet. So let's pull them up, pull them back like so. And let's have a look at that. And then the way I've pulled that back might be a little bit too much. What I might need to do now is just pull these up a little bit. So I'm just going to increase this just so they go under there. And I shouldn't have a lot to actually move. Now I am going to also come out, and it's basically just, again, tidying everything up. So I'm just going to pull this forward just a little bit, this wool, a little bit more forward just to get rid of that pot on there. In fact, I'm going to pull that wall back a little bit, and then what I'm going to do instead, this bit on here, as we can see, is poking out through there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press S. I'm going to right click, to Origins Geometry, S and Y, and then I'm just going to squish them in. Now the thing is, I've just got these two squished in, so I should be able to work with that. Should be able to pull them out now. And that's nearly fixed. You can see now it's fixed once it's in there, and there we go. And now let's move on to this part. So we can see here that these are going to have to be pulled up probably a little bit more. So I'm going to have to pull this up a little bit more, like so. I'm also then going to, I'm just wanting basically to rest on those and making sure that it is resting on those and not really into it. So I need to pull it down a little bit, and then I'm going to pull this one up and level it up with that one, and then pull this one up and level it up with that one there. And this bit's actually really important to get everything leveled up, because then it's going to play around to the other side. Now the other thing is I do want to pull all of this up as well, but the thing is I want to make sure I'm onto material, so let that load up, and then I also want to make sure that I'm pulling the whole thing up. In other words, I want actually smooth proportional editing on, and now I should be able to pull the whole thing up without moving too much out of the way. And let's now do the same thing on here. So I'm going to come into this part, I'm going to grab it from underneath. So I'm going to put on X-ray, grab that part there, and then pull it up like so. Double tap the A. And now I think we can see that that's pretty much in line with where it needs to be. This part is in line where it needs to be. We're going to have to cut off this end. And I know this is, took a few minutes to actually get right, but I think actually it's really important. We can also see now as well that pretty much this part here is actually looking good. It's following that curve really nicely. You just have to decide how far you want this part out. But yeah, I think that looks pretty much the way that I want to. Now what I need to do is I need to come in and decide how far out this part here is going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this part over with Shift D, bring it over, put it on the other side, because we're not going to see the front and back at the same time, and put that there. Yeah, I think I'll have it like that. I think that's going to look pretty good. All right, so that I can actually work with. Let's save out our work now before we do anything else. And now what we can do is we can actually think about coming in, and we'll fix this part first. So I'm going to try instead with this part, just bring these parts in. So I've just grabbed all those parts, as you see, and then all I'm going to do is just press S without proportional editing on, S and X, and just bring them in like so. And I think actually that's going to fix that. Okay, so now we need to put this over the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this. I've got my center of origin, hopefully in the center where this cursor is. If not, you can put it along here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, set origin to 3D cursor, add in a modifier. Let's bring in a generate, and we'll bring in a mirror. And then that's going to put it over the other side for us. Now we can see that we do have some problems in that we need to pull these out a little bit. Now, when we pull these out, it does mean that we're going to have to pull, we either pull these back or we pull these out. Let's see if we pull these out a little bit like so. And then let's see now if we pull this across a little bit, how much room. And I think actually that is going to actually look a bit better. I'm just wondering whether I want the tiles to be slightly over on this bit, and I think I do, which means that I'm probably going to add in another tile. So in other words, my horizontal count is going to go slightly up like so, and maybe up to 45. There we go, it popped on there, and there we go. I think that's much better, where we can see these tiles on here. Now we just have to be very careful that you've not actually got them into the wood. So maybe I want to bend this a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend this a little bit more. And really holding shift button to get it into place. You can see that this is what it's looking like at the moment. Can I bend the horizontal to be more in place? Or do I need to put it all the way there and then bend it more? That's what I'm thinking. The other thing we can do is, while we've got the mirror on, we can actually come in to this. And I can actually pull these out now. I think I'll come in and I'll just press 1 on the number pad. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it out. Now I'm going to do that with proportional editing on. So I'm going to pull it out like so. And then I'm going to come to the next part. I'm going to do the same thing. So 1, I'm going to pull this out like so. And now that's looking much, much cleaner, much, much nicer. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now what I want to do is I want to actually put this on the other side as well. I want to actually either pull this out, because you can see here that this one, yeah, actually that's in the right place. That's fine. It's still going along there. The only thing is we've changed this piece of wood now. So this piece of wood is obviously not here. So let's press delete. Let's grab this one, press Shift D, bring it over to where I want it to be, which is going to be just around about there, I think, and that looks fine. All right, a lot of work to get this done, I know, but it's very important that we did this. And what we're going to do now is, if we grab this part here, we now need to change this into mesh, and then we can mirror it over the other side. So let's do that now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over, Control A to actually apply that. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it over the other side. I'm going to put it over the other side by coming to the center point of here, grabbing maybe 2 points, Shift S, cursor selected, and now coming to this, Control A, all transforms, right click, set origin to 3D cursor. And then what I'll do is add modifier, generate, and we'll bring in a mirror like so. And now you can see perfectly on that side. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so now we've done that. Before we actually apply that mirror, we obviously want to come into this one and we want to unwrap them first, but then we want to unwrap the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of them first, Smart UV Project, click OK. We're going to end up with this obviously mess which we've had before. If we click it on, we can see now this is what we're going to end up with. We really want some dirt coming in down here. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to come in. I'm going to do what I did before, which is selecting each of these. So Shift select, Control select, Shift select, Control select. And then what we're going to do from there is we're going to grab all of these going across, hopefully, and then we can unwrap them. So Shift select, Control select. And because we've mirrored it, it means that it's going to be much, much easier to do the other part as well, because we're going to be mirroring the UVs as well on the other side. So Shift select, Control select, Shift select, Control select, and now we'll go to select, and we're going to select similar based on normal, and then it should select them going all the way over and leaving these parts here, hopefully. Now what we can do is we can go over the top, and I can basically come in and press U, and I can project from view. So project from view. Let's have a look what we've got now. So I'm going to go to my UV, or actually I'll go to shading because we already have it there anyway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press tab, and we haven't got our material on yet. So let's put our material on first. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to grab this one, press Control L, link materials, and then we'll come back to this one. We're going to minus off, which one is this? This is roof, so this one has to also be roof. So let's minus this off. And there we go now. And then what we can do is now we can come in and grab this, spin it round first of all. So R90. And then what we can do is we can pull this out now. So S, pull it out, and then G, put it back in place. And let's have a look what that looks like. And now you can see we've got all of that dirt going along here. I'm just looking, making sure that these other parts, as you can see, these are not unwrapped properly for whatever reason. And I think it's because they're not unwrapped properly. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hide this part at the moment. So I'm going to press H to hide it, A to grab everything else, and now we can see what the issues are. Now I'm going to do is I'm just going to press, let's press U, Smart UV Project, click OK. And then what we'll do is we'll bring those out like so. And I'm hoping that we've not got a lot of brokenness in there. Yeah, and I think that's actually looking okay. All right, so now what I should have done as well is before doing that, I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to show you one other thing that you can do. And what I'm actually going to do is instead of doing that way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of these. So all of these grabs, P, selection, I'm going to separate them out. So now we can actually grab the front and the bottom. So if I hide this out of the way, you can see all of that actually gets hidden away. Now you can also see that behind these as well, we've actually selected the normals on the back as well. But now what we can do is we can actually select these, come in, grab them all, U, Smart UV Project, click OK. And then what we can do is we can press S, bring those out like so. Now at this point as well, I'm also going to get rid of these parts going down here. We're really not going to need them at this point, so we can just delete them like so. Delete the other one as well, and we should be left with something like this. And now what we can do is we can press Alt-H, bring back the other part, come to this part now, and then you can see this is what we've got. Grab everything, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out a little bit. So S and Y, let's pull it out a little bit. Let's press G now and move it into place, like so. And let's look what that looks like. And that is looking pretty nice, as you can see, and pretty realistic. Now, the one problem I've got is I'm just looking, see, yeah, we've got some different color in here, slight different coloring in here. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. We'll just have to make sure when we come to the other side that the other side along here is also, I mean, we're not going to see both sides of the building at the same time, but we do want to make sure there's a little bit of difference. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come to my modifier, just press Control A, and then what I can do now is come to this part. So I've got both of these selected. I'm going to press 7 to go over the top. And what I'm going to do is, so 7, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, double tap the A, Control B, sorry, just to select them all. Control plus to make sure I've got them all. A over the other side, and then G and X to move them just along this way. And now this one's going to look different from the other one, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. All right, everyone, so that brings this lesson to a close. And then on the next lesson, what we'll do is we'll really then start working on getting this wood into place, getting the wall into place, and getting the top off here with the chimney and things like that. And then you can see most of the things that we've put on this side. Maybe I think there's one different window on here or something, which we can use. It's been done, so that's really good. All right, everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.